Okay, so this is the third video on using formula in Asta Power Project, and we're going to expand on some of the examples we've seen in previous videos. I'm going to introduce the concept of using mathematical functions into our formula and use some more advanced conditional formula, which we started in the last video, and we're going to continue with this and produce formula that will show us priority indicators of high, medium and low to alert us to certain things happening in our project. And we'll also look at using error handling in our formula. So I'm going to start off with an example that we've used before, a simple formula that will tell us the duration until the start date of our tasks. This is quite a useful one if we need to know where to focus our attentions and easily identify from a schedule which tasks are due to start in the next week, for example, or even those that are overdue and should already have started. So to create that formula, I'll go to the library, to the formula section, and I'm going to create a new formula at the bottom here, duration until start. And this formula used the field of start date minus the variable date of today. So the distance of the start date from today. And you can see at the bottom here the status is OK. That formula is created. Okay, so let's go back to our project. If I add a column and bring up this formula into my column, duration until start. Okay, so you can now see for each of my tasks, the results are showing the duration until my start date with the time unit there. And the time units can be controlled through the table definition. Mine are rounded up to days, so I can see the D, or in these cases, the 4 weeks, 4 days until the start date of the tasks. Now we can extend this simple formula to show the results in days but without the time unit, essentially converting the result into a simple numerical value. And this is useful if we would like to export the data, for example via a tabular report, into Excel, where the data could be manipulated further. So what we want to do is take away the time units from the result. I'm going to right click on my column and go to table definition, and I will do my editing of my formula from this area. Now when I click edit formula, to take away the time unit, what we can do is insert a divide sign, and we divide the result by 1 day. And this will give us the result we are looking for. Now you can see at the bottom the status is telling me that there is an error. And because I've got start minus today here and then divided by another item, what we would need here is some brackets to just separate that part of our formula. So the result of this formula is then divided by 1 day. And you can see now that my status is OK. And that's taken away the time unit. So as I said, this is useful if you're looking to perhaps export the data into another application where you might use it and manipulate it further to produce charts or other reports. This could be used with costs to take away the currency units. You're just left with a figure in your formula result. Now you can see that all my results are showing 2 decimal places. I've actually got no half time units in my output here, but I may have, if it was costs, for example, some half units, not full pounds, for example, and want to round up to the nearest full unit and take away the decimal places. So let's expand this formula further to remove decimal places. Again, I'm going to go into my table definition and edit the formula. And if I place my cursor at the start of the formula, use my function button, and I have some mathematical functions here. The first one you see allows me to round, and this will allow me to round up the output of my formula to a given number of decimal places. Now if I select this item, it inputs an additional part of the formula into what I already had. Now in brackets, the value is the formula that you have, and the decimal places will allow you to enter a figure to how many decimal places you want to round up to. So what I would do in this case is I would copy my formula, I'd cut it from that position and put it over the value, and the decimal places I'm looking for, 0. My status is OK, so that formula is correct. Okay, so that's given me a much tidier result, and taking away the decimal points, rounding to the nearest whole figure. So as I say, these steps would be useful when using cost fields in our formula. The same method could be used to round up to the nearest pound and to remove currency units and display a simple numerical value. And we'll look at using costs in formulas in future sessions. Okay, so this column is useful to show me how long until the start of my task, but it doesn't really draw my attention and alert me to the fact that some of these tasks are in fact overdue, where I'm showing a minus figure, and need to start and need my immediate attention. So in the last session we looked at conditional formulas, and along with that the use of traffic lights or RAGs, which show red, amber, green lights to indicate a particular result. So using my example, I could use a formula to request that if the start of a task is overdue, or for example due in the next 5 days, show this as red. If it's due in the next 5 to 10 days, show it as amber, and if it's between 10 and 20 days away, show it as green. So I'm going to create a new formula to show this, but I'm going to use part of the formula we've just been using. So I'm going to go back to my library. Duration until start regs, and I'm just going to take that section of my previous formula and copy that. Okay. So to set up a conditional formula, we would use the function key. Our conditional formulas are here, and in this case we're going to use a switch formula. A switch formula allows us to test for multiple conditions and show a different result for each condition. So what we're asking the software to do here is look for test condition 1. And so in the case that my start from today, we don't need to take the we do need to take the numerical value away, excuse me. In the case that my start from today is less than 5 days, less than 5, we want to show that as high. We want to show a red traffic light in that case. In the condition that my start minus today, I'm going to copy that again, put it into test 2. And for this type of formula, because we're showing that it's less than 5 and we're not putting a time unit in there, this is another example of why we need to use this part of our formula to put the result of the start minus today to start until our duration until our start date into a value, not with a time unit. So if the start minus today is greater or equal to 5, and we repeat the formula condition again. Start minus today is less than 10. We would like that to show as medium. And then our final condition, if the duration until the start is greater or equal to 10 and is less than 20 days, we would show that as a low priority. So quite a lot of text put in there, but the initial formula we'd used before, and to copy that across, all I've actually added is the condition in terms of number of days. If it's less than 5, it's a high priority. If it's more or equal to 5 and less than 10, it's a medium priority. And if it's greater or equal to 10, less than 20, it's a low priority. And we can see at the bottom here, okay, so that formula is correct. Let's flick back to our project and see how that looks if I add a new column for formula and put my duration until start rag in. Okay, so as expected, I can see here that my first couple of tasks are overdue. My first task is overdue here, showing a red alert, and task 2 is 3 days until start, so it's alerting me also to that task. Medium indicator for task 3 and a green indicator for task 4. Now, the tasks in section B are more than 20 days away in this case, and because of the way I wrote my formula, if it's equal or greater than 10 but less than 20, show it as a low priority, show it as green. These tasks in section B actually fall outside of the parameters of my formula. Other formulas you may write may also trigger errors. This is seen as an error in the formula. For example, other formulas you may reference a user-defined field that doesn't exist in a project, or your formula might reference a cost center that has not actually been allocated to a task. And in these cases, instead of the error column leaving as blank, you may want to display something of your choice. And our formula setup allows us to handle errors so that if the formula does show up an error, we can choose how we want the output to display. So I'm going to add an error statement, an error handling statement to this formula. I'm coming at the front of the formula I just created, and I'm going to leave a little space there. If we look now at the function key again and error handling, this is my error handling statement, a try statement. Let's bring that up into the screen here. Okay, so what we're going to do, the try statement says if the expression is met, or if the expression is not met, try for the expression if you like. If not, give an alternative. So try for this formula. If I cut and paste that as my expression, so I'm going to try for that, but if not, and in this particular formula, because I've used the words high, medium and low, that indicates the priority traffic lights. So I'm going to stay on those lines, and if it's anything other than the formula I've written, I'm going to ask it to show a low priority. And in that case now, my tasks in section B are returning a result of low. Okay, so that's the end of this video, and in future videos we'll continue to look at the use of formulas, referencing summary tasks, baselines, and starting to look at some cost and resource information in our formulas. Thank you.